Thank you for coming. This is great. I got ideas of things different I should say, so this is great. I do have a handout that follows my talk. I'll talk a little bit off track a little. First thing I wanted to say is licensed acupuncturists don't do just acupuncture. We practice herbal medicine, Tuina massage, gua sha, cupping. We have a bunch of tools in our tool chest. Acupuncture just happens to be the best known. So I prepared a talk on kind of an approach to arthritis with acupuncture and herbs, but there's other things that play in there as well. Actually, we don't treat arthritis. We treat painful syndrome called Bijang, which I'm not saying quite right, probably in Chinese, but it means painful obstruction. And it encompasses arthritis. It also encompasses sciatica, tendinitis, bursitis, and some other, and fibromyalgia.
Would you pour something in?
Bijang is pain in the muscles, joints, tendons, ligaments, bones, involving aching, numbness, tingling, fixed heavy sensations, scorched heat, inhibited flexibility, joint swelling or deformity. Damp, cold, heat, altitude, weather changes can all affect it. Basically, a lot of arthritis is caused by a weakness in the body, and that body being exposed to something that invades it. And I'll give you some examples of some patients I've treated over time. You may not be aware of what that was when it happened, and I may see you 20 years later, and we may never determine kind of what caused it from that viewpoint. But 2004, I think it was, we had 3 hurricanes through Florida, and I had 2 patients with shoulder problems who had picked up furniture, had loaded stuff up, had hung plywood on the side of their house, and they both had shoulder pain. And actually, there were 2 other cases I didn't treat just the same week I heard about. So they'd been in the cold, the damp, humid weather, and they'd been stressed, and they'd been kind of weakened with fatigue, and they had their shoulders invaded by the climate, you could say. And that impedes the circulation, impedes the movement of the joint, causes pain. Another example is a man with arthritis in his hands, and he remembers having surgery and the operating room being just so cold he couldn't stand it. And ever since then, he's been sensitive to cold and had this arthritis develop in his hands. Again, surgery is something that weakens your body. Another example, these were healthy young women. I only treated one of them, but her friend, she told me about her friend, they'd gone to the spa. Hot rock massage, hot mud bath, sauna, and at the next week, she developed hot swollen joints, and her friend developed another autoimmune disease, I don't know what kind. So they were in there sweating with their pores all open in a very hot environment and got invaded. Now, from a Western medicine viewpoint, I can't say what that was, but definitely from Chinese medicine, they had an issue. I put a quote in my handout. I'm not going to attempt to say the pinyin, but it's, if there's no free flow, there's pain, and if there's pain, there's no free flow. And this is talking about the body and the chi or energy, the vitality of the body, and the blood. So arthritis affects the flow of chi and blood in the body, and acupuncture and herbs can help open that up again. But you have to take into account what caused it in the first place. Was it something cold, damp that invaded? Was it hot? Is it heavy, or is it just fixed and stabbing? So you look at all the nature of the pain to treat it properly. The main categories are, and usually it's more than one thing invading, are wind, cold, and dampness invades, wind, heat, and dampness. You can actually have wind, cold, damp turn into wind, damp, heat if it stays in the body long enough. And you can generate some factors that clog up your body from poor digestion, from getting sludge in your system that impedes, and the joints are a little more vulnerable because it's harder for things to flow across the joint. Along the arm, it's all continuous muscle, but from this limb to this, there's a jump things have to make. So, basically, acupuncture is a physical medicine. It improves circulation, which can help wash out inflammation, but also can improve circulation into the area. And a lot of times, I gave you a little map on the handout of an example of the shoulder joint. There's actually 4 meridians that cross the shoulder. So if you have shoulder pain more on the front here, it could well be related to the lung. I treated a patient one time that had a son who died and was having shoulder pain, and it seemed to be transferred in the lung meridian, and the lung is grief in Chinese medicine. The large intestines is the next one over, the triple heater, and then way in the back here is the small intestines channel. So we see if they're all involved or if it's just 1 or 2, and then I can design treatments that are either local, or I've actually loosened up people's shoulders by treating their opposite ankle. So those are some things you think about with acupuncture. There's reflex areas. I didn't even get into the herbs, but there's some formulas here and some ideas of foods just to give you an idea. But with herbs, you have to be careful because somebody can have an invasion of cold in a joint, but inside they're very hot. And you need warmer herbs to help get rid of that pain, but if they're hot inside, you've got to make sure you give them a balanced formula so you're not causing internal problems. So when Chinese medicine is used properly, there's no side effects, like your Vioxx story, but it's a medicine, it affects the body. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellen.